musst neue Leute kennenlernen, Freunde finden. Dein Leben ist nicht da oben, Elio. Es ist hier unten.
Alles okay?
Ich will mich entführen lassen. Von Außerirdischen. Es gibt Zeichen. Ich sollte da draußen sein.
Adrian started the film. I had the privilege of working with Adrian on Coco, and I love him. But yes, Coco 2 started at Pixar, and Adrian is just one of the architects of that. He and Lee, created Coco, so he wanted to jump onto that. He has such a great relationship with Maddie and Domi, and so it made sense for them to finish the film. I think the way it affects the film is that all the directors do touch the film, and one thing Maddie brought was, what if Elio wanted to actually go to space? So you see a little bit of all three of them in the movie. Oh, wow, I love that. Perhaps, I hadn't thought about that. But I think loneliness is something like anxiety of Inside Out 2 that we all feel, that we all connect to, and the lack of belonging that Elio feels. But even when you meet some of the aliens, the monsters, some of them are dealing with their own wanting to connect. Certainly with Grigon, we see that, right? So hopefully it's a theme that everyone relates to. But you're right, the aliens could be a different metaphor as well. Elio is so inquisitive and so curious about aliens in space, and he's so creative. I think that's one of the things that really excites me about him. And just his willingness to jump in and try to make this all real, up to the point of climbing into the teeth of his friend and hiding in his stomach. He's actually more courageous than he realizes, and I think he's a very inspired Pixar character. Well, I think as you and I talk, we use our eyes to express ourselves, right? And we can read each other. And so for animation, if you watch other Pixar characters like Elio, an eye flutter or an eye blink really tells you a lot. And so when the animators don't have eyes to use, it's a challenge. But I think Gordon's so expressive. And I think there's moments where you can just see the slightest things that they're doing without the eyes, and you feel a lot for him. So it was a real opportunity as well. Yeah, some of the new technology that we use for Elio is a little bit more under the hood, but we were able to see lighting and layout a lot sooner. And so it really allowed animation to be more informed, because before you would have to wait and see renders. So it just gave the whole team an opportunity to collaborate a lot more. And then the character of Ooh is actually a new technology. The characters team had presented Ooh, this liquid supercomputer, and it seemed like an easy idea to maybe just take what we had learned from Elemental and make her actually made of water like Wade. But they had another idea to approach her in a much different way without a rig at all. And so she's this much more organic group of these blobs that the animators can move around and make into anything. So that was a really exciting technology on Elio. At Pixar, we are one of the few places where everything happens under one roof at Emeryville. And so I think one of the best parts about working there is each part of the film is hand-touched by so many artists and technical people. And so I think when you see a film like Elio, you can see in every frame just the specificity of detail and depth, and that's all humans. And I think someone was joking with me recently, like, I don't think we're waiting for a world where, technology or AI would be our storytellers. We thought they were just gonna clean our house or something. And I think for me, storytelling is so human, and I think that's what Pixar is best at, authentic storytelling. And so you can see these are hand-touched films made by people in Emeryville. I think for me, having worked in animation for so long, I can remember being at the grocery store and seeing someone had made a cheap version of any movie, you can imagine. But the stories, respectfully to those companies, I don't think the stories are as deep or as personal. I don't think the detail is as rich. And I think that the best time I can remember going to the movies is where I'm surprised by a story and I feel something just really authentically human. So for me, that's what I'm looking for in my art and films. So I think that's something we do better, for sure. That's a great question. A friend of mine, Roger Guillet, who is a visual effects supervisor and worked on a lot of the Star Wars movies, talked about that very idea. And he says, you know, you go into the edit room or you make changes and you change a frame, you change one vogue, you change something in the music, and then suddenly it's magic and it works, right? So it's not always one thing, and sometimes it's an alchemy of different elements. And at Pixar, that's what we're always doing, is watching it together and asking ourselves, do we feel this? Do we know when the scene works? And I think at the end of the day, it is feeling and sharing with an audience, because you get that feedback and you say, okay, I can feel seeing it in the theater, I can feel everyone reacting to it. So that's kind of our best measurement. Yeah, it's so wonderful to see with an audience. You're always listening for when will you get the first laugh. Or, you know, I don't remember which clip we ended. We had to go to the in-between, and everyone's like, oh, you know, I think it was Gordon and Elio on the bridge bonding, such a tender moment. So, yes, you're hyper aware of all the responses. And today it seemed like people were really involved in the footage, so it was really satisfying. Rob Simonson is a genius, and we're so lucky to have him. Such a collaborator, such a amazing partner. And we just did our last 2 days of scoring at Sony last week, and I have to tell you, it's so emotional. The last cue in the movie, we all were crying on the stage. It's just so beautiful. I think Rob brings all kinds of elements, like different ideas, right? He's great with synth, he's great with an orchestra. On this film, he even used these boom whackers, like different toys to get different sounds for space. I think it's just such an emotional score. I think it gives you the sound of space. He even found these small speakers that are from this company called Teenage Engineering, which are speakers in these beautiful wooden dolls, and you can program them. And he had this great idea to bring them on as a Communiverse choir, so we would have this special sound of space when Elio arrives. And just those are just a few of the things that Rob brings to the project, and we're so lucky to have him. Wow. We had the opportunity to work with Jill Tarter from the SETI organization, and one thing she talked to us about is as you look out into the vast universe, it can feel daunting, we can feel small, but then you start to see these connections that we have, that we're all connected as part of this grander landscape, and that we are all together on Earth. We're all Earthlings, right? And so it's just this amazing moment of just asking, are we alone? And I don't think we're alone in the universe, and I don't think we're alone here when we feel lonely. We're actually all together as long as we reach out and make connections.
Bringt uns euren Anführer?
Hi, kannst du mich hören?
Schatz, es ist gerade echt schlecht.
Okay. Tschüss. Hab dich lieb. Hab dich lieb. Hab dich lieb.